15 billion miles from Earth, in a place so empty that even starlight hesitates to cross it, an aging machine drifts alone. Voyager 1. Launched in the 1970s, older than most of the scientists who still listen for its voice. A relic of an earlier era, designed not to hear, but only to speak. No microphone, no ears, no reason to turn. For nearly half a century, it has done the same thing faithfully, point its antenna at Earth and whisper home across the void. Until the day it didn't. Without warning, Voyager shifted. Its antenna swung, not toward us, but toward a patch of sky that every catalog insisted was empty. No stars. No planets. No galaxies. Just void. And then, something answered. What followed was not a glitch. Not noise. But the impossible. A rotation with no thruster activity. Data packets filled with unknown structures. A tone buried inside its transmission that carried rhythm, almost like music. And then, silence. 12 hours of silence. When the signal returned, nothing about Voyager was quite the same. Voyager 1 was never built for this. Its creators in 1977 only expected 5 years of life, long enough to capture Jupiter and Saturn before fading into history. It had less computing power than a digital watch. Yet it kept going, past Uranus and Neptune, past Pluto, beyond the Sun's reach, until it crossed the heliopause in 2012 and entered interstellar space. From then on, its job was simple. Stay pointed at Earth, keep sending home data. But in 2023, something changed. Telemetry that didn't look corrupted, just rewritten. Clocks slipping out of sync. Orientation data vanishing. Subsystems responding to inputs that should not exist. Engineers ran checks, but this wasn't failure. Voyager wasn't breaking. It was reacting. To what, no one could say. Then came the proof. Deep space gyroscopes confirmed the spacecraft had physically rotated. A torque event, without fuel, without power, without impact. No thruster log, no solar radiation spike, no micrometeoroid strike. As if it had simply chosen to turn. And what it turned toward made the mystery even darker. The alignment was almost perfect with a theoretical construct known as a gravitational null, an unstable pocket in space where forces cancel to nothing. A place no spacecraft could possibly detect. And yet, Voyager had found it. Or had been guided there. That's when its plasma instruments picked up the hum. Not random noise, but a single pure frequency. 3 kHz. Steady, exact, unchanging. When audio specialists converted it, what emerged stunned them. Intervals like a scale. Patterns repeating in symmetry. Palindromes. Harmonics. It wasn't random. It was composed. And hidden inside that waveform was information Voyager shouldn't have been able to collect, let alone transmit. Prime numbers. Recursive geometries. Constants written with impossible precision. As if the spacecraft were suddenly fluent in a language it had never been taught. But here's the strangest part. The hum wasn't broadcasting across space. It was narrow, targeted, like a beam. Directed only at Voyager. Other probes heard nothing. Voyager alone was chosen. And then, silence. 12 hours. For the first time in 46 years, Voyager went completely dark. No carrier signal. No heartbeat. Nothing. NASA waited. And waited. And then the probe came back. But it came back different. Its system clock had restarted, not slowed, not skipped, but reset, as if time itself had been cut. The packets it now sent carried new structures, new formatting. The same spacecraft, but altered. And then, one last revelation. When European scientists cross-checked its new trajectory against the oldest light in the universe, the cosmic microwave background, they found an anomaly. A faint outline, hidden in that ancient radiation, that perfectly matched Voyager's path. an imprint older than the solar system itself. In other words, the universe had always known Voyager would be there. As its transmissions continue, one detail refuses to fade. A persistent tone buried at 30 kHz. Pure. Undegraded. Constant. Like a beacon in the silence, waiting for someone to recognize it. Voyager was never meant to listen. And yet, something out there has made sure it heard. And now, the question isn't whether Voyager found something. It's whether something found Voyager. 15 billion miles from Earth, Voyager 1 drifts in the kind of silence that feels permanent. A machine older than cell phones, older than the internet, older than most of us watching right now. It wasn't designed to listen, only to speak. No ears, no microphone, no reason to turn. Just a 1970s spacecraft whispering data back home. Until it didn't. Out in the dark, Voyager turned. Not randomly. Not mechanically. Deliberately. Toward a section of sky with nothing in it. No stars. No planets. Just void. And then, impossibly, something answered. What Voyager recorded didn't behave like radiation or background static. It was too clean. Too exact. A pure tone, steady and flawless, immune to the chaos of deep space. When NASA pulled in experts, harmonic physicists, music theorists, signal analysts, the verdict was unanimous. This wasn't noise. This was structure. The tone obeyed rules. Symmetry. Rest intervals. Patterns that mirrored themselves. Scales that aligned with music as humans know it. Beneath Voyager's standard telemetry, hidden like a second audio track, was something intentional. And when the sound was broken down further, the pattern revealed call and response phrases. Pauses that functioned like punctuation. It wasn't just a tone. It was a score. And then, abruptly, deliberately, it stopped. As if whoever, or whatever, was playing, had finished. Music rises. When researchers stripped away the sound, another layer appeared, data Voyager shouldn't have been able to send. Recursive math strains. Fractal structures. Number systems outside NASA's protocols. And embedded inside were constants, gravitational values, quantum ratios, cosmic expansion rates, so precise that Voyager's aging sensors couldn't possibly have measured them. It was as though Voyager had become a carrier, its signal rewritten to hold a payload of knowledge. But the strangest moment came when the data was run through a prototype quantum processor. A system designed to recognize emergent structures. Out of all that math and recursion came a single output. Not coordinates. Not an equation. Not even numbers. A sentence. Are you ready to listen? This wasn't a broadcast. It wasn't a declaration. It was an invitation. Music shift. Ground telescopes were aimed toward the region Voyager had turned to. At first, nothing. Then, a shimmer. A faint, pulsing glow that seemed to react to solar flares. Not instantly, but rhythmically, like an echo, like acknowledgement. It didn't behave like a star. It didn't radiate heat. It responded. The glow shifted in frequency, not in position, almost like something alive. And it never moved away from Voyager's line of sight. For months, the assumption was that Voyager had received a message. But over time, that theory collapsed. The data, the orientation, the blackout, the reset clocks, it all fit a different story. Voyager hadn't just intercepted something. Voyager had triggered something. Its presence was the knock. And the tone, the silence, the impossible data, that was the answer. Suddenly, the so-called malfunctions no longer looked like malfunctions at all. The unexplained rotation. The blackout. The restart. They looked like calibration. Not of the machine, of the connection. For 46 years, Voyager's mission was simple. Send back data, never deviate. It wasn't built to discover intelligence. It wasn't built to be noticed. And yet, drifting farther than any human artifact had ever gone, it may have done exactly that. It didn't go searching for life. It simply arrived, and that was enough. The deeper question now is not whether Voyager made contact. It's whether we're prepared to acknowledge what contact actually means. If the universe can respond in music, in numbers, in silence, then maybe the real experiment isn't Voyager's. Maybe it's ours. Because when the signal resolved into those words, "Are you ready to listen?" It wasn't just a question for a spacecraft. It was for us. So I'll leave